Good morning and welcome to Hardin Life Live. We're the Hardins and we're part of a family of counselors and coaches. And we try to get together for just 10 minutes and give you some tips that we hope would help you live your best life. We've been this month sort of focusing on life skills. And we've had a couple of cool ones. We started off this month with self-compassion. And then last week, Hun, you brought us to the focus of ownership, really taking ownership of your life. And this morning, I sort of had a topic.
Okay.
I actually think what I've looked over my lifetime, that probably one of the life skills I've needed the most and had to fight for the most is consistency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I could certainly resonate with this idea of consistency, especially with the four circles that we typically work with: physical, emotional, relational, spiritual growth is how we want to be holistic in our growth. And I can go through each one of those areas and cite some degree of consistency and some degree of inconsistency in my own life. For example, physically, I get up every morning and I do 16 burpees, whether I want to or not. I am not leaving the house unless I do my 16 burpees. And that gets
not
my heart rate.
Not 17, not 15,
No,
but
16.
Perfect.
I could do more or I could do less, but I do 16. That gets my heart rate up, gets me clear. I exercise, walk. I know that I've got to exercise, and I do that. Emotionally, I know that what I want to deal with is confronting, expressing, acknowledging the caution lights of my emotion. And I say caution light because, again, emotions are neither red lights or green lights. They are caution lights that alert us to some sort of experience. Right. And mental health is all about being able to put words to experience. How I interpret it, how I experience it, I've got to talk. And then even relationally, I'm committed to the consistency of confronting all relationships. I don't want to play defense. I want to play offense.
Okay.
And the idea of defense is fight, flight, freeze, fawn.
Oh, yes.
Everybody's familiar with that.
Welcome to our workshop.
But the healthy approach to relationships is face realities, face issues, face loving, confronting.
Yeah.
And then finally, consistency spiritually. I journal every morning. And what I mean by journal every morning is I don't journal every morning. I journal regularly.
There you
and
go.
So I am a regular journaler.
Well, I love that you really help us to think about if we're going to live our life of consistency, we can't just do it in one area only. I know lots of people who will take one of those circles and, gun it, and just that's sort of what they're known for. But it's like anything in life. If you only work one side of something, it gets lopsided. So the real challenge is balancing what we're growing in as a holistic person. So, the idea of consistency, it's sort of challenging because we do have all these parts, and usually we go to the most urgent or the most important, and we feel like we're putting out fires every day, all day. And if you let the urgency decide what you do in your life, you'll never get to consistency. So there's got to be a mental decision. No, these are 4 areas I value. I've got to determine. But I think where I, in the past, got so hung up in my own up and down consistency world was that I thought I had to go big or go home. Like, man, I gotta be the best in the gym. I've gotta nail all my Bible. I gotta study for an hour and a half in my Bible study. And I couldn't keep that up.
Yeah. No. Well, again, what consistency is speaking into is the perception that I need to be perfect.
Yes.
And it's that perfectionism
Yes.
that can kill us. But consistency, another way to think of it, is good enough.
Yeah.
And all I've got to be is good enough. I've just got to do the next best thing. And then when I stop, I keep starting back and keep going.
Well, and that good enough kind of mentality. Our daughter was in town, and she'd been on a real important health protocol just to get her body back in shape. But she'd been traveling, moving, all this stuff, and she goes, "You know what? I really just managed about 60%." And I was like, "That's incredible. That's incredible."
Mm-hmm.
So setting your standards realistic. And in my blog this week, I really talked about starting small and just doing small consistently.
Right.
And I hope you do get a chance to read it. But I had the joy of being in my best friend's wedding way back, and her husband is that guy on the Admiral on YouTube who is known for the favorite and famous commencement speech, where he simply told the graduating class of University of Texas, where we attended, just start with making your bed. Something so itty-bitty. And he built a case for even it set a tone. It set a tone of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then, even if it was an awful day, say the day went really south, you came home and you had made your bed. Something just anchored you back.
Exactly.
And I love that.
No, that's fabulous. And again, the little things of life that we do on a consistent basis is more telling about our character than hitting the home run, shooting for the moon. It's like just do the best thing, the next best thing, and stay away from the shaming, guilting, critical voices in your head. Defeat that. Just do the next best thing. Get up right now and go do the thing that you know that you need to do.
Well, I think when you say that, the guilt and shame is what so often stops people in their tracks
No doubt.
from being consistent. And you and I had the privilege of knowing a professor when we were doing graduate work, and he was a marathon runner. And of course, everybody was in awe of that. We're like, "Ooh, oh my gosh, how does he do it?" He'd been a marathon runner for like 20 years. And so, of course, the first question everybody says is, "How have you done that? How have you stuck with it?" And he looked at us and he goes, "Oh, it's easy." And we're leaning in. He said, "Every time I quit, I just started again." And that's something we want you to think about. Consistency isn't the gunning it. It's every time you quit, just start again. And you see biblically the ant, the grasshopper, there's models throughout Scripture and Aesop's fables that really tell us just keep the little, and if you don't do it, just start it again.
Yeah, it's really, once again, all about being able to be just good enough.
Yes.
Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't look for perfectionism, and then don't just completely give up and just say the heck with it. Do the next best thing, one day at a time, one day at a time, one day at a time.
Love it. Well, we hope that's just giving you a little inspiration this week. And don't forget to read my blog. And it is at hardinlife.com. See you next